all due respect, with all due respect, with all due respect, with all due respect, with all due respect.
All Due Respect Podcast presented by Mo Knows with your girl Lady Simone, Mr. McFly, and me, your main man Mo. Today we're doing our monthly 3 for 3. As y'all may have saw on social media, we got my man Blaze by Dame, aka Damien Armstrong.
Yeah.
He's actually cutting my hair right now as we speak. We also got some guests in the room. We got Gerari J-Bo Gowdy.
Yo.
We got Shannon Gamble right there.
Biscuit.
Yep. And we got a Greentown legend, Connell Moses. What's going on, man?
What up?
So, all right, y'all know what we're here for. Y'all here to ask me. Oh, I'm fault. And we got Big Fella on the lens as well. He's sitting there taking the pictures.
Big fella. My boy.
So what we're here for, y'all know, is 3 questions apiece. Random 3 questions. Y'all can go anywhere y'all want to go with it. So that's a total of 9 questions. Y'all don't even got to do it like that. However y'all want to do it, get it off your chest. It's just like the barbershop. You know, best conversations come in the barbershop. After you get a haircut, you still find yourself, walking to the door, but then eventually you be like, yo, let me go sit down on the edge in the middle for a hot minute.
Sit down. I see it all the time.
Yeah. So who's up first? Who's up first to ask the question? Who's
I got a question.
Directed to?
What made y'all first want to do this?
Is this for all of us?
Yeah, everybody that's involved.
All right, go ahead, Lady Simone. I'll let you start first.
I'll let you start.
All right. Me, I enjoy conversation. Not just any kind of conversation. I enjoy healthy conversation, constructive conversation. Like McFly just said right there, if you're not buying, if you're not, what was it you just said?
If you're not buying, you're selling. You're doing one and two.
So at my point, if you're actually not coming to the table with a solution, you're hurting. You know what I'm saying? You're actually taking away from what's supposed to be going on. What's that whole thing? If you're not helping, you're hurting, in a nutshell. And I feel that conversation is the foundation for all that right there. Then me, I just like to talk. Maybe hip hop, maybe relationship. I just enjoy talking. But again, it has to be of some substance.
And I'll say for me, just the thing, this is something that we always did. Like, we would sit down and get together, not even a particular holiday. It's just something that we have friends over or something. We just talk. And one day it was just like, let's start a podcast. And, the whole thing was not even being just like a regular podcast, just talking. It was just changing everything up. Going places, traveling, doing something different. All that right there. So that was the whole biggest thing for us. So for me, it was just the joy of having conversation and seeing how conversation moved people in the conversations that we had at the house. People were starting to feel good. They didn't want to just come over just to talk. So that added to, me being a part of it.
So the base of it with me was pretty much, we have conversations internally that most people don't know about. Like, in general, I'm a real private person. So most people don't know about a lot of what I do. Like, even my man Shannon from high school, they wouldn't know the chicks I would be talking to back then. Like, I would maneuver a certain way, so...
And to be talking to them chicks?
A few of them. But,
You got that wrong. Kindergarten.
But a base of it, though, like, there's a lot of things that I went through or experienced, and it was kind of therapeutic as a platform. I can actually tell people about certain things. Like, you may not know about it. I'm actually doing this with that. So it's therapeutic, and also just getting out there, letting people know that just because you're black or you're from this specific area that you have to always do this. I do different things. So kind of getting out there, and again, mostly therapeutic, though.
All right. Who's up next? Who's up next? You got another one, Dane?
Actually, I do got another one.
All right, what's up?
All right, so listen. Earlier this year, Pusha T and Drake, they went head to head. I'm a Drake and a Pusha T fan, but I fool with Push.
All right.
Heavy.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that rap thing, you know what I mean?
Right.
We ain't just talk about making songs and dancing and all that. We talk about rapping. We talk about bars and all that. So I want to know, what's y'all take on that whole thing? Like,
please let me go first. Please let me go first.
Who killed it? Because I mean,
all right, me personally,
I'm gonna say Push.
All right, so with that, I'm gonna ask you why you say Push before I say my response.
I say Push because when it comes, we talking about bars. Okay. We ain't talking about none of the little Drake is clever. He's a clever dude.
Personally,
what's good?
You know what I'm saying? It's still it's still undecisive. It's
My
undecided.
My man.
Because Drake ain't even respond to that. Not really.
He didn't respond the second time.
I'm gonna tell you my take.
He didn't respond after the
I'm gonna tell
second
you
one.
my take. It's 1-1. It's 1-1.
Because it's, to me, I think pound for pound, man, Drake one of the nicest right there.
Yeah.
Yo, okay, and me, I'm gonna tell you what
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
he don't got that street
Nah,
credibility and none of that.
He got the street people behind him.
But I'm gonna tell you what it is. That's why.
Dude.
That's why they
That's
say
what
push
separates
one.
it.
Because typically hip hop is based off of streets, so they want to sit there and mirror push. Everyone at one point in time had dope boy ambitions. Everyone. Everyone ain't with the whole light skin, cat Drake singing in your feelings and emotions. I'ma say Drake did it because for one, Push did what Push did. That's cool. But Drake actually went on an original beat. He actually went bar for bar. He ain't really throw too many like, yo,
tried to
check this
monetize
out.
it. That's it.
I feel like
What's
Push
wrong
was
with that?
doing more talking than rapping. I feel like he was doing more talking than rapping.
Push said in the beginning of the story, but down like, yo, let's put the coke selling aside. Let's put the ghostwriting aside. Let's
Right.
talk facts.
Right.
And that, in a fight, it's simple. If you punch me, I'll punch you.
Right.
If you leave, you lost.
Right.
That's it. It's simple. You punch me, I'll punch you. I punch you. You lost.
So it's not.
You
They
throw
gotta
another
blow.
punch,
They gotta
you
blow.
lost.
They gotta blow for
You hit me
blow.
once.
No, I hit you. Who hit last? I said,
No, it don't matter.
Bro,
I hit
check this
you.
out. But yeah, I'll go a bit further. Jab, jab, hook.
Where was
That
the hook? Where
bro,
was the
he had to
hook?
put out a whole story saying like, yo, check this out. Me with the blackface, I was doing it for a shoot.
Okay,
just
so,
cause this, it was artistic value.
Okay, we got the war and we got the battle. Push May won the battle. When
Bro,
the last time you
this
heard from
is
Push?
a rap
Besides
battle.
when
This
he
is a rap
no, it's
battle.
relevancy as
No,
well.
this is a rap
When the
battle.
last time have you heard from Push outside of that?
This is a rap
we
That's
can't.
power.
You know what I'm saying?
That's power.
That's
People
it.
want to bring the money and all
No,
that
no,
stuff.
we ain't talking about money.
Nah, I'm
Relevancy.
just talking about what other people, what I've
We
heard
can
other
talk
people
about
say.
money too.
That was what you
That's what the
We
power
can't,
comes
but
from.
we can't go
We're
to
talking
the
about
money
the purest form.
Why? Why we can't go to
Drake
the
killing
money?
that nigga with the money, man?
We talking. This is a rap.
He should choose his
battles wisely.
No.
But he's an OJ.
That's why Drake stopped, because he knows this is not good for the money. That's what he was thinking about. You know what? If I punch you, this pretty face right here, nah, I gotta keep telling you.
Nah, that would have give him life.
No, that's what I think. I'm
Drake
not
Drake
that.
stopped because
That
of
would give,
business.
Yeah.
That was it, because
Push
he was
life.
done.
If Drake would have
It
kept
would've.
responding, that
Right.
would have
It would have. It's
breathed life
done though.
into his little,
Right.
gimmick.
It's done. Like I said,
So-
Drake got down with some street dudes that was really trying to take it to the next level. And Drake wasn't ready to get down dirty. As simple as that.
No, I disagree.
He started
I
talking
think
about
Drake
yo,
was
you are
ready.
hiding a son. Like
I think Drake was ready. I think Jay Prince told him to fall back.
Bruh,
Do y'all think? Do y'all think?
G's behind
Do
him
y'all
too.
think Jay
He's behind
Prince?
him.
My
I
bad.
believe it.
Do y'all think Jay Prince telling him to fall back with?
I think.
was it credible? Like, look,
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
That's Jay Prince. That's the old. That's the look at.
Jay Prince co-signed
They
him. He
sit-
said he had the track ready.
When they sit there and say the
Yeah.
boogeyman of hip hop, you like to give it to Suge. The boogeyman of hip hop is Jay Prince. Not one
I've heard
time has
that. I've heard
anyone ever stepped on his toes. Have you
heard
ever heard anyone diss Jay
But check
Prince?
this out though.
They
Nope.
disrespect
But check this out,
another
though.
little kid that just came out with that's on me,
6ix9ine.
baby thing.
Yeah,
Yellow Bees.
I think he got shot disrespecting
Prince.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
unfortunate.
look,
I
you
like
can't.
that.
No,
you
that
can't
had
like
something.
Prince.
That had
Yeah,
something to do
yeah.
with that comedian,
Anybody
the
that's
comedian
on
guy out of
Houston,
Texas or whatever.
That's
Really?
getting money like that,
Yeah.
they coming through Jay Prince.
Yeah.
That little boy,
He's in
what's
Dallas.
his name?
Yellow Bees in Dallas.
Yeah. I think he goddamn like
No, that was two separate. That was two separate
He just,
occasions. There was a comedian, whatever, in Texas or whatever, and they were beefing or whatever. He got shot the week. He got murdered. He got killed the week before, and that was real. That Yellow Beezy thing was a retaliation of that.
Okay.
But check this out. So let's just say Jay Prince is the boogeyman of hip hop.
Right.
You gotta go to the extreme of getting the boogeyman of hip hop to come in and be like, yo, I told him stop. You had to go get the big artillery to stop little old Push. Only a couple million push.
Dude,
you needed to bring out the big guns. You gotta bring out the big guns.
You saw what he did.
Sure.
But see, he messing with Prince Money. You saw what he did with Puff.
How can
You
little
saw what he did when
Push do
Puff-
that?
When Puff swung on Drake in Miami, right?
Yeah, he made
Prince
that
went on a
announcement.
record real quick and said, "Look here, man. You touch one of mine, I'll touch one
And
of yours."
Push?
And he said, "Bad news will meet you at your front door." That was the end of it.
That's a fact. He went on the Breakfast Club, so Drake's my favorite rapper. I love Drake.
That was the end of it.
I love
man,
all.
look at
and
man.
that was-
Jay Prince got agriculture.
Think about it. Kim Porter just died.
Oh God! Oh God!
Conspiracy theories.
Yeah, he just stirred the pot. He just stirred the pot with that.
Hey, that was real
He just
mysterious.
stirred the pot with that.
In a hotel.
They said she had the flu or something that she came down with pneumonia or something like that.
That's what they said.
We are-
Puffy a billionaire, but she's out of I'm gonna leave that alone.
We are
We'll throw it in
definitely
the air, though. Y'all talk
cutting
about
that
later.
part out. We don't got.
That's kind of funny.
No, with all due respect, podcast does not sign that theory at all. We are cutting that part out.
Word.
That is
He brought up a very valid point, though.
I was real
Damn, she
mysterious.
died. Nobody really know how she died.
From the flu?
Pneumonia.
You a multi-millionaire?
Pneumonia.
Man, he got money for that.
You can go pay a $20 copay and get that fixed.
Yeah.
All right, who got the next question? Gerard, you got a question?
God.
I'm still man. Come back.
Come back.
I got a question.
That might be it, right?
That might be it.
Shannon, you got
I
one?
got a question. I got a question for the
I ain't even thought about
Mr. and Mrs. Morrison. All right, so how long you been married? Y'all guys been married?
Yeah, I'm gonna get them questions too.
Woo! 9 years. 9 years.
Okay. No, it's a.
Nah, when you ask those questions and the number ain't right, you hear it in the car.
So what do you guys think is the most important thing in a marriage?
Communication.
Communication. I have to sign it because one thing you gotta understand, like, in order to understand any issues that's going on or anything that may be bothering the next person, is you gotta communicate with each other, because it's so easy for me to be in my feelings and him not even know, but I'm tight, you know, and then I don't say anything, then it blows up, and it takes days and days and days, and then when I come back to it, it causes a bigger issue. So if you tackle it right then, no matter what, it can be the smallest thing, because you're two different people. So when you approach your significant other and you let them know right then, like, listen, I feel this type of way, or whatever it is, you just knock everything out. Then you can just handle the situation. You got to be truthful. Like,
And the thing about this right here as well, you got to take into consideration, there's a few variables in that communication. One, it's pretty fair to say that you and your significant other wasn't brought up the same way. So the way that you were brought up, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the third, that's a major variable. Number two, us men, we all have this toxic mentality that, you know what I'm saying, like, kind of do as I say, type of feel type thing. You know what I mean? We weren't shown how to actually express ourselves. So we feel expressing ourselves is buying, you know what I'm saying, materialistic items, cars, and you think they're real right. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the case. So when it has to really, honestly, I'll be perfectly honest with you, and I went on record saying this, my wife taught me how to love. Not saying that we didn't have love within my household, because I got my two brothers here, and I got my neighbor right here as well. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, we weren't brought up on that. Our pops was raised as far as go to work, bring the money, and that's that. They wasn't shown to show their significant other or whatever. So that right there ended up becoming a cycle. And at that point, that cycle had to be broken.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying? So it takes time.
But that also to say that was acceptable for the time. I think the key thing is to say that we didn't evolve with that. Again, I'm single,
But
throwing it
how
out
could we
there.
evolve if the person that was actually the teacher wasn't taught? The teacher was freestyling. I'm not throwing no one under the bus. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of points where we're freestyling. Because it was told to me, which most of them here are parents, it was told that parents doesn't come with a handbook. So I'm saying we're literally freestyling this thing. We got 3-headed kids. My first one, I tell people all the time, your first kid is the mess up. You know what I'm saying? The second one, you should be a little bit all right. Me on my third, we should knock this one out the park right now. You know what I'm saying? Because we're learning on the fly. And because in a lot of cases, again, not to throw our elders under the bus because they probably didn't know, we're sitting there trying to figure this thing out. We really, I have to actually tell my kids why I'm about to discipline them, and they have an understanding. And another thing, I had a conversation with someone the other day, said, Marin, I cannot conform to this thing where kids have a say-so. I said, all right, how's that battle going for you? He said, well, it's not going good. So therefore, if the fight's not going in your direction, we need to switch up the game plan, come back in the corner. Yeah. These kids, my 11-year-old is smarter than me when I was 11. My 8-year-old is smarter than me when I was 8. And my daughter is smarter than me when I was at 2. So you got to understand, the same tool that's in that toolbox, you can take the premise of it, the basis of it, but that same tool is not going to work. My son can, when it's time to change the channel, I call my 11-year-old. You know what I'm saying? So I need him just as much as he need me.
And one thing I want to say too that we were so programmed to do growing up is whatever happens in our house stays in our house. Mm-hmm. So that's something that we have to kind of get out of too, because I think another thing that helps a healthy marriage, and I tell people all the time, the same thing like what we came together for is communication. So in order for me to be able to say anything to anybody else about a marriage, I got to open up and tell them about the good times, the bad times, the hard times, that, you know, all of that, because that's the only way people are going to understand and have healthy marriages and grow. You're going to have to know about the days when you want to just throw it all away. You're going to know about the days when you cry and all this. It's all of that come together. And I think we have to get out of that mindset, because it's okay because it's happening in your house. It can well enough be happening over here. That don't make that is bad. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way we can grow. Because
let me add, based off, I think a lot of what it is more in general with people, we get want and need confused. People jump up and down for what they want. Oh my God, I want a new iPhone. I want this bag. I want that. But you might need new tires though. So we looking at it like, well, that cell phone costs $200. These tires cost $200. She's not as ecstatic or happy about them tires. That new cell phone she gonna jump up and down for. But we feel like, well, it's $200 I spent regardless. I'm taking care of a need. But she's looking at it, assessing it differently based off of a want. So sometimes you gotta sit there and decipher, am I meeting the needs or am I meeting the wants? And let her know the full picture, the full spectrum with male or female.
And I think, to need balance. I think it goes to whatever your significant other is, because you never know that individual fully. Because then I just had this conversation with some friends yesterday. And the thing is, because you grow, you know, things change, situation change, life change. Like I told my friends yesterday, I said I had to adjust to a whole new husband after the situation happened with him. And it was freaky, because for me, I'm used to this old person. Now, you know, all of a sudden you want to start doing stuff that I probably asked for you to do years ago. And now you're adjusting and changing and things are clicking. And it's like, whoa, I'm kind of like, ooh, I'm not used to this. So it's one of those things like we got to understand, like you got to study and don't take the little things for granted, because it may not be a new iPhone. Yes, I may be in the technology, but I still want you when we walk and hold my hand. So it's the little things that we got to remember and that we got to do.
And let me tell you how important it is when you have kids in a marriage, how important the kids are within the marriage. You know what I'm saying? Because again, we get to that point where we're the parents, right? I'm going to tell you a story that happened last week. McFly contested this and Lady Simone contested. My son had his first basketball game last Saturday, right? So we get to the game. I think my son might have scored 2 points. They won the game, right? So we off in the corner waiting for him to come over there. He walks over there rubbing his eye, and me knowing my son, I know he's about to cry. And he's about to cry. I'm looking at him like, yo, what's going on with you? I'm thinking somebody done said something to him. Like, all right, I'm about to go do somebody dirty out here with everybody looking. Facts. Right? So I'm sitting there like, and his mom, he went to go hug his mom. And I'm looking at him, so me, McFly, my son and my daughter, we just sitting there allowing him to have his moment. And that's another key thing. Your son or daughter cry, mostly sons, let them cry. You understand what I'm saying? That's toxic. Again, men don't cry. I'll be damned. You understand what I'm saying? Let that out.
I don't believe in that either.
Okay, so nonetheless, my son was crying. So we allowed him his moment to cry and whatnot. So when he came over, we had to ask him. I was like, Malik, so yeah, Dad, what's going on? I said, why are you crying, son? Because again, I'm ready to go do somebody dirty. Mm-hmm. And he was sitting there like, Dad. He was like, what? Dad? I mean, he was crying. This ain't like, no, I just won an award crying. Like, you thought he just won a chip. This is his first game. So I'm sitting like, what's wrong? I said, Dad, we won, Dad. I just really wanted to win today, Dad. And I tried hard, and I prayed, and I ran, and I did everything. I hustled hard, Dad, and we won. Do you know how much that took me back? Like, again, you know how much you can learn from your kids. Then you can't. Even yesterday, me and my son, I'm getting ready for the Cooper River Bridge run in April. Me and my son was on a treadmill yesterday. I said, all right, Malik, we want to go do a mile before we go to your basketball practice, right? He's like, all right, I know he can't run a mile. Me, I got a mile, right? So he's sitting there running. I said, all right, Malik, I see you get tired. Bring it down. He said, nah, Dad. Well, he went down. He's like, nah, Dad, I want to do what I was starting at. I'm like, what? All right. So that inspired me.
That's good.
And then we're at the end, right? He said, Dad, I'm going up in speed. I said, you going to go through that sheetrock? He said, I'm going to try. And I was like, whoo. So what that made me do, I'm like, you ain't about to done your daddy out here. So I went up in speed. So we're sitting there going hard on that treadmill. And after we got done, we're breathing hard. And I looked at him and said, son, thank you, because you inspired me today. And what that did was set the tone for the rest of my day. So that just goes to show you, again, when it comes down to relationships, you got children involved, please, you don't stay together for your kids, but I promise you, your kids are going to help you way more
Yeah.
then you think that you're going to help them.
Yeah.
Sorry for the long-winded question. This is why I'm podcasting. Long-winded answer.
Nah, but we needed that.
Okay.
I needed that. I don't know.
So, next question. Who we got?
Cuzzo, you ready?
Simone,
Okay.
what's more rewarding, being a great mother or a great wife?
Oh.
What's the question?
What's more rewarding, being a great mother or a great wife?
Ooh.
Don't be do not be
That was
political.
good.
Do not be political in the answer, please.
Yo, you
Do
wasn't
not
about
be
a
political in the
lifetime
answer.
before you came over here with
Hey,
that.
go, that was a good cut. Go, go, go,
That
cut.
was a good one.
So that's like asking which one of your kids is the favorite.
Hey,
No.
I want to tell you
I
what
like
messed
those
up.
kind of questions. Put them
Hey,
against the wall.
you should bring the kids down here right here next to me and ask them that. Like, which one you like more?
Honestly, I would have to say, he said don't be political, but it's the
Please don't be
truth.
political.
I can't
Barbershop
say
talk, barbershop talk.
that is, I would have to say that being a mom is very, very rewarding for me, because before I understood how to be a wife, my kids taught me how to really be a mother. So to nurture them gave me skills and things that I could nurture my husband, because I didn't have that in the beginning. So I was a young mom, which not very young, was like, teenage mom or nothing, but still, yeah, I was, yeah. So it was one of those things to where I had to adjust my whole everything, and it's so much easier to adjust and give my all to them than it was to adjust and give my all to him, because they came from me. You know what I'm saying? For, even though you could see, this is your husband, this is your partner for life or whatever, there was still, it would be easier, and it's going to sound bad, but it's the truth. It would be easier for me to drop him than to ever drop my kids. So I would have to say, but I would say it's more rewarding just being both now. You know what I'm saying? At first I had to grow into both roles though. Okay. But my kids, I mean, above anything, I love them above anything. I love my husband, even when I want to just slap the you-know-what out of him. Yeah. We always got this thing. If all of us go, we all going together.
That's definitely, that old age question, if you only can say one, if you're drowning and whatnot, if you can only say one, me, the answer's always been, everybody grab hands together, we're going down together. I'm not going to attempt to try to save my son, then my other two sitting there looking at me, then my wife is up out of here. You know what I'm saying? We came in this together, we're going to leave together. So that's the way that I look at it. My question is, y'all, I got a question for y'all, based off what she just said. When it comes down to relationships, I think everybody here is somewhat in a relationship. Who gets the plate first, the kids or the husband? Like, if dinner time comes, no, I promise you, it goes back and forth all the time.
It's supposed to be the husband, but it's the kids.
Okay, so okay.
I would say the babies.
All right.
Because that's why you go out and do what you do.
Word.
To make sure they eat and the food on their table. You know what I'm saying?
With your logic, it'd be hard to say man at this point now. But prior, I was definitely going to say the man. But your logic, though, 100%. Again, you're out there busting your ass to actually do it for the kids. So when it's time to actually do it for the kids.
When you said that or whatever, I just thought about everybody hates Chris. Well, listen, Terry Crews been getting his plate first.
Oh, yeah, with that big piece of chicken.
Yeah.
I personally think
He been getting the breast and the leg, boy.
came from conditioning. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
Like,
Cycle.
But listen,
you dig what I'm saying?
Word.
but I say the husband should just fall back and let the fam get their plate first.
So, question: Is there a right or wrong answer to that?
No,
Whatever works for your family. Whatever works for you.
To be honest, it's really not a wrong
Because
answer.
I mean, if you look at it, it's setting the tone for your kids, my sons and my daughter, right? They can look at it like, you know what? That's how I want my old lady to treat me. My pops got his first. You know what I'm saying? And my daughter's looking like, okay, this is how my mom did for my dad, so this is how I'm gonna do. But vice versa, you know what I'm saying? Vice versa, they show them how to be selfless. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what, my dad, my dad's gonna jump in front of the bus for us to live. So, you know what I mean? So, is there really a right or wrong answer to that?
Nah, it's not.
It's not.
It's not. I don't think so.
But that's a question you gotta answer personally. You know what I'm saying? Like, however you feel, your personality.
You know.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, adding on to what you just said, your kids could look at it like, damn, Dad go out there, he do what he do for us, whatever, and then he still sit back.
Right.
And let us, have our way first. Then he get, you know what I'm saying, whatever left over. Like, dang, Dad.
But
That went ahead, you know
That's
what
why
I'm
you
saying,
go
did what he
super hard
did,
if you
whatever.
know it's enough.
Yeah, so typically, because
You
it
know
comes
what I'm
down to it's supposed to go to the kids, the wife. Then if
Yeah.
there's nothing left, Pop's got to figure that out. But
Exactly.
but y'all got to eat that first.
But
I gotta eat.
But I think one thing
I'll
too
figure
we
it
gotta
out.
look at too, because there's so many different ways, like how you say the kids can look at it.
Huh?
But I think what comes into play with that too is communicating with the kids, so they can not only just give them that visual, but also talk to them. Let them know, like, okay, this is why I'm getting my food. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that way, you know, it's not, they can kind of, like, it's all perspective at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because I could do something and you can look at it and be like, yo, she did this, and then another person see it a totally different way.
Yeah.
So I think that's when communication come in, not only just with each other, but with your kids and with your family. So we even do things like when you have family night and we talk. You got to talk to your kids. You got to talk to them. So I think that comes into play with that too.
That's another thing again. Going back to the kids, my oldest son, he is a very inquisitive individual. My 8-year-old's kind of like nonchalant. He's super observant. My 11-year-old asked me yesterday. We was at basketball practice. All of us in here from Georgetown, and he was like, "Yo, Dad, what did you like about basketball?" I said, "I'll be honest with you, son. I really wasn't a fan of basketball. I was kind of forced to play because our pops was a basketball player. He was a coach, and we had to go in the backyard."
He's tall as shit.
So I was like, I did it just to do it. He said, "So you didn't really like it?" I said, "Nah." He's like, "Well, Dad, if you had your opportunity, what was it that you would want to do?" Dude, I had to stop. This is my 11-year-old asking me this question. I had to stop. Like,
Baseball.
huh?
Did baseball.
I did baseball, but I did that again because I was a fat kid. He was trying to keep me in shape. Never worked. You know what I'm saying? So I was sitting there, and I'm like, "Son, I don't know as a kid." I said, "The only thing I know, I wanted people to say my name." He said, "What do you mean, Dad?" I said, "Everyone here heard Jay-Z's song Encore, right?" Yeah. I thought that was the strongest thing when he was in Madison Square Garden. What, 17, 20,000 in there? You got one man standing on that stage. My man said, "If y'all want me to bring him back to the stage, say Hova." The whole crowd went, Hova. Could you imagine what that does to you? Like, you got 17, 20,000 people that believe it is what it is that you spit out. And they just sit there screaming. Imagine you sitting there.
I said, we was there. We did it in
Imagine you
Charlotte.
sitting there cutting hair, right?
Yeah.
You got a line out. You know how it feels if you got a line out the door, like, yo, damn it. You know what that do for me? So I said,
okay, we need to do that though.
So me, I was like, "Yo, son, where I'm at right now, what I'm actually taking this conversation thing to a whole new level. That's what I want. I want them to sit there and say, Mo. I want that feeling. I want to stand right there. I want that feeling to when I'm standing, I'm done talking, I'm on the stage, and everyone's clapping, someone's crying, someone said I needed that, someone called. I get that on a very small scale right now, which is actually fueling me to do what it is that I'm doing now. You know what I'm saying? So to get that right there, gratification, because it has nothing to do with money. And I think a lot of people mess that up. We need money. Don't front. We need money. But that's not the dangling, you know what I'm saying? That's not that fruit right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I can touch Cornell, because he has a story and we're going to sit down with him that he's going to touch people, I'm sure, if you haven't already. Damien, if I could touch one of these people, you know what I'm saying, and it leads over to the next. And that's how we start making that change within our community. You understand what I'm saying? Because like I was speaking to McFly and another friend of ours, I said, do you understand that your sole purpose here on life might be for you to die to save someone else's life? Your sole purpose might be to jump in front of that car and save that old lady. Now that old lady, her son somehow or another is going to cure AIDS. Or something to help, you understand what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't understand that it kills me with this generation right here, this 25-year-old on whatever that window is. They are so selfish. You know what I mean? Hands is always out. Give me. Yeah. And it kills me because I work around a lot of them.
You gotta add something to that. Anytime anyone says, I'm 28, I'm always gonna take up for the 20s, period.
But yours is a little bit different.
But I'm not speaking on me. I'm an outlier. I get that. But I'm speaking on the general though. Anytime somebody mentions like, yo, the 25-year-olds, the 27-year-olds, like, yo, the TK question is, who raised them? Y'all, whoever's the older generation, if you're gonna sit there and say, point your fingers, you messed up.
No. Go ahead.
You messed up, or the father figure, or whomever. Then again, it's not necessarily a father figure that needs to raise someone. It's the older generation. Like you said, I'm an outlier. I have older brothers, so I'm gonna cut from a little different cloth. I get that. But my peers, some of them are kind of based off of that cloth that you're speaking on. But again, if it was such a big issue, like again, it was steps before it got to this point. everybody had to be a witness to this. We could have spoke about that then. Now they're at the point that you can't stop it. Don't point your finger, scream. Let's try to help the situation.
You know what? They're not going to listen at this point in time. But you know what? As far as
They would have when they was 10 though.
As far as you said that, the generation has gotten better. I read, it was a book that my man Kevin Hemingway sent me. And the guy put things in perspective for him. He said, the world is not messed up. The world's in a beautiful place right now. Because the way it was in the 50s, it's not like that in the 60s. The way it was in the 60s is not like that in the 70s. So it's a slow progression.
To a degree.
Right, word.
I personally think there's nothing new under the sun.
Yes, it's true.
It's just that with technology and the internet and all of that, information is like everywhere now. So you can see, you can hear about this, that, and the third going on, as opposed to back in the village where, multiple things may have happened before you heard about the first thing. You dig what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So it's the times. It's the same as back in the days. It's just that information is more prominent now. You can get information.
Okay, true.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
No, I got you on that one.
I want to touch base on what you just said.
What's up?
Our generation was just as worse as this generation.
Absolutely.
This whole right there.
And the generation before that was just as worse as us. You dig what I'm saying?
This is true.
It's just that,
So what you were saying, you basically like said, we're responsible for becoming,
Of course.
and I get what you're saying, and I agree with that to a certain extent,
Right.
because these don't listen. I'm speaking real right now.
Please.
Yeah.
So excuse my language and all that, you know what I'm saying? But these niggas don't listen. These niggas just gonna do what they wanna do.
It's a fact.
They listening to rap songs.
Yeah.
That's where they learning stuff from.
conditioning, baby.
100%.
Yeah.
They listening to rap
Conditioning.
and everything that's going on TV. They ain't listening to a guy like me who telling them like, yo, listen, get some business about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Use your hands.
I think a big thing is
You know what I'm saying? They ain't trying to listen to that. So it comes to a point where it's out of our hands.
Now you gotta understand, you're not gonna be able, like, again, as I tell people, like, they got lifeguards
You're
for a
not raising
reason.
your kid no more, man.
It's other things that are raising.
There's
There's other things that are raising. So,
somebody's gonna turn back.
Young parents,
You're not raising your kids
yeah,
no more.
right.
Somebody's not gonna make it, bro. It's gonna be situations like 6ix9ine, be like, yo, there's gonna be a lot of martyrs. There's gonna be a lot of martyrs that's gonna have to be out there. Let's just understand what it is. But it is our job to actually provide that. The thing is, like I tell people, if you're so passionate about something to speak on it on a public platform, be so passionate to put the work in. Don't give a kid 10 minutes like, you know what? Yo, do your schoolwork, do your homework. All right, I'll holler at you. Nah, you know where I live at, right? Come on, let's do my homework with me. Sit down. If you actually care that much to voice your opinion, care to put that work in. I don't want to hear your opinion if you ain't putting that work in.
But I would
you got
say
24
too.
hours in a day. That's just what it is. Put the work in or go about your day. I don't want to hear your opinion if you not really put the work in to change. As he said, if you're not part of the problem, part of the solution. I disagree with that statement. But based off of this, though, it works.
Wow.
But
I want to know why you disagree.
So if someone's in front of me and they get robbed and I didn't stop them, I helped the robbery? No.
That's some straight up Uncle Ben shit from Spider-Man. Like, yo, my man could get away and rob your grandma. So you're part of the problem.
I set you up for 100%. I'm glad you took the bait.
You know what I'm
With
saying?
that being said, though, I helped the robbery. I'm the problem? No.
So
I tell people, there's nuance in every single thing. There's a gray area.
So tell me that right there then. On that same example you just hit me with, please tell me the nuance and gray area on that, please.
The Spider-Man situation? I don't know if I saw the movie.
I mean,
they made the Uncle Ben's rights. Uncle Ben's rights.
Yo, you got my point though. Nonetheless, no. If you see something going down and you don't do something, yeah, you're a part of the problem.
I disagree.
Because now, most cases, people they want to turn their head until it's knocking at their front door.
But it
now
depends and there's different things that you can actually do too. It's not necessarily because there's incidents to where there's things that have happened in front of me, and like I was driving down the road doing a bus route, and I'm doing my bus route, and this car is going crazy. It almost hit a couple of cars, so I'm like, yo, okay, call 911, and
So my thing is though, if they would have hit a couple of cars, would you have been in fault? Would you went to sleep feeling bad in the sense that, you know what, I killed people today? Would you have felt that?
What are you talking
about? Are you talking about legally?
No, wait a minute.
I'm not talking about
you saying if you felt,
I think she would. If she knew she saw that.
Yeah, if I saw,
she would do nothing about it.
I think she would as well. But what I'm saying is though, the problem and the solution, there's a nuance in the middle of that. The example I always use, if I see somebody beating on their girl or something like that. I'm about, depending on the situation. I may run up to see the situation. I'll be like, bro, you better stop. The cops around the corner. I can do something to prevent it.
Right.
I can also be like, you know what? I'm not going to witness this. I'm going to leave. So now me leaving, did I hit her too?
You're part of the problem. Did you directly hit her? No, but you are. Are you directly a part of the problem? No, but you are part of the problem.
But I just spoke to someone about that though. I just told him, I said, now we have to be logical here. We have to honestly understand that you can't come and be Superwoman. We ain't got no superhero powers. But the thing is, there's different things that you can do. There's different things that you can do to help the problem. So if you're in a situation and I see something, if I have to call somebody, they got cops and stuff on, I feel much better knowing that I tried to help. But if I'm going to sit there and just be like, oh, whatever, and me calling could have stopped something.
From a humane standpoint, like, yo, we know that's not real right.
Yeah.
You know that's not real right. I'm not sitting there saying you go over there and put the pause on it, but like you said, you can call 911. You can sit there, hit your car alarm, and be like, oh, somebody see me.
I would not feel a certain way about an individual if they took the route of, I'm about to physically confront him, and another individual, I can't witness this, I'm going to leave. I feel no different way about the other parties. There
was a situation, I'm going to tell you. I was in front of Dollar General, and in front of, right beside Dollar General's a nail spot. The nail spot, there was a guy and a girl in front of there, and looked like God was toughing her up, like had his hand around her neck doing whoop-de-whoop. So I beat the horn. I was in my car, and I beat the horn and just gave them like, look, somebody watching you. And he kind of backed off. And then other people came and they left. Now, whatever happened when they left, okay, I don't know. But my thing is, at least in that moment, I stopped something.
I would tell anyone, do what you personally feel comfortable with doing, and whatever you're doing, be ready for the actions to go both sides. If you honked that horn, he could have been like, you wanted to? I got a right and a left. I got a right.
And I got 9.
Yo, you gotta understand. I tell us about everybody that got guns, my God. This says you got a gun, don't mean you're gonna hit something. You gotta understand, everybody, majority of people that got guns can't aim.
But I'm making sure I'm in my logical state too, because guess what? I was in my car. Mm-hmm. I was out of harm's way. Right. So when I did that, guess what? I could pull right off. I was a distance.
I'm not speaking about the situation in specific. I'm saying in general, any situation, if you do an action, understand it could go. You could be the hero, yay! Or you can also now have your whole family have to get sued for the black joints. Yes. Are you okay with both the options? That's why I tell people you got to understand the full situation before you jump in it.
You can't understand the full situation.
Okay, if you don't want to, because you can, there's options you can.
You got to be prepared for whatever.
You got to be prepared for whatever.
And all I have to do is speak on my behalf. I'm prepared for it. Like I said, I'm prepared. We had this conversation on the podcast before already. Yeah. I'm perfectly done, because you know what? Not take that back. Not like that.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Not like that. But if it's in the...
I'm about to say, I love Bible. Heroes die. Legends live forever.
If it's in the crossfire doing what I feel is right, I consider that an honorable death. So when they actually come knock on my door, I told my wife and kids already, you know how it's so crazy right now in our community and whatnot? If I'm walking out of Walmart and I see someone getting handled, a lady, first of all, I don't think they got no business outside at 1 in the morning. Whatever, you do whatever you want. And I see somebody robbing them, I'm going to help them whether I know them or not. Now, if I get hurt or killed in the process, I consider that honorable. So when they come to my wife and my kids, they said, Courtney, so-and-so, that sound like something they call y'all too. Y'all gonna be like, that sound like something you do.
You can live with the circumstances.
Myself, yes.
Now, again, that's you.
Yes.
What about your family living with those circumstances?
They are okay with it.
You gotta understand. Again, as long as you're comfortable with it and your surrounding is comfortable with it, by all means, do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Just be full and cognizant of everything of the options that this can go. I don't think people do that. I think it's like, impulse reaction. I'm about to go. Oh man!
But then at the end of the day, it's all come down to your heart too. I mean,
it's personal preference.
It's your heart. You gotta go with what you feel. You gotta go with
that's your heart.
You know what I'm saying? You're not go.
I'm sorry.
Look at a situation.
I'm a real logical individual.
I'm glad you said that.
I'm going to take a minute to just let this soak in.
And you know within that minute, that could be a funeral.
That could be for them or me, but I'm gonna take that minute to see.
Analyze.
That's just in you.
Yeah, it's all. That's
you know what I'm saying? No. You ain't even really thinking about it.
You don't think it.
You just like, yo, hold up, nah.
This ain't right.
It's gonna be at some point in time. I'm gonna be thinking like, yo, I don't want to do. If I had that, I tell people. Anyone that knows me,
I'm thinking about trying to help
anybody that knows me.
Katie gonna think.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You gonna analyze that situation.
Anybody that
You
knows
may
me,
not post them and may just call the cops or
I'm
something.
a analyzing individual.
I don't care what y'all say. Hey, Katie gonna think and analyze like, should I do this?
I know he got it.
I'm like, hey, listen, I know him too well.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? This situation be my record for the rest of my life. I can't get another better job.
Bro, I'm not gonna get him on student loans now because I'm a convict. You understand? It's like, again, I'm a very cerebral person. That's
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
specific.
That's a good thing in the wood. That's a good thing in the wood. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Let me tell you, I was at Chuck E. Cheese a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh, he ratchet. It's ratchet in there.
Yeah.
It's ratchet in there.
There was a white guy, you know what I'm saying? He spazzed on the young girl that was working the door. She was standing at the door, you know, checking people in, stamp on people and all that. He spazzed on her because he said, "Oh, you let my daughter walk out of here. You supposed to be on your job."
Ain't that do that?
What are you doing? You're supposed to be on your job. Like, I just happen to be standing up there.
Yeah.
I'm playing the game with Mace, but I just happen to be standing right up there, you know what I mean? So I hear him, and I turn around, I'm like, damn. Well, he's spazzing on the girl, and the girl looks shook.
Right.
So I'm like, without thinking, I done stepped up like, yo, you good? Everything good? Yo, you need to go ahead up out of here, man, because that's your job.
Right.
That's your daughter. Ain't nobody supposed to have your... Ain't nobody supposed to be out here watching your daughter and making sure she don't go outside. That's your job.
Right.
Man, get up out of here, man. Before you get hurt.
What homie said?
All right?
Damn.
Look at you got pants on? Yo, you got pants on?
Y'all should have seen that, but man, so I'm saying, you good?
Yo, when you at Chuck E. Cheese,
Look at that cowboy.
but Shorty was
Look at that
scared.
cowboy.
Right.
Shorty told me after he walked out, Shorty like, after he walked out, Shorty like, yo, I just hope you don't come back in. I said, yo, you ain't got to worry with that.
Yeah.
It was me, and then it was another parent. She's probably like 16 or something. You know what I mean? Nah. But nah, she was scared. She was like, yo, I just hope you don't come back in. I'm like, nah, you ain't got to worry with that. Me and another parent, another dude who was there, just innocent bystander, you know what I mean? We just listening. And we both was like, nah, yo, you ain't got to worry with nothing. Like, everything good. We got you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think
you're not going to think when it's time to, you know what I mean? You ain't going to think.
It was your comfortability to do that. Again, I'm looking at the situation. If this guy's 6'6", 280 right now, like,
I ain't
hey,
thinking
bro.
about none of that.
Oh, okay.
You can get it.
I tell everybody in the situation.
I'm thinking about the kids.
Right.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Because then not only is that his kids, your kid there too.
Exactly.
So you got to think about all that too. So as a parent, you just react.
I got a few philosophies I live by. Like I tell anyone, like, I'm surprised I'm lacking at the moment right now. Whenever I'm out and about, I want anyone that I'm with, anybody understand, bro, I'm getting to work on Monday. You need to understand that. I'm getting to work on Monday. So if you're in between me getting to work on Monday, it's going to be an issue. I'm going to get to work on Monday then. So you got to understand that right there based off of that. Whatever situation it be, that's my end right there. So if I was like, yo, I had a situation where...
I'm going to let them boys know you need a raise. You need a raise. You dying to get that. You need a raise.
Hey, boy, listen, boy, snow day ain't all, boy, listen, hey.
I'm going to get to work. Like, there was a situation that happened lost my train of thought. But again, that's the whole basis of it. I can't have anything stopping me doing what I need to do to provide for them and provide for.
The situation happens one day.
I feel you on that.
Whatever. That's what you're about to say.
That's
the situation.
It's been too many of them. Too many of them. But again, based off of the... Oh, I lost it again.
Get it back.
See that?
You think about that raise.
I need that raise.
He over there like, man, you know what? I really do need a race.
Yo, how about this? You want to come back to? We go to the next question.
It's just the simple basis of...
What's your philosophy? Matter of fact, you said you live by. What are they?
Memories over money. That's first and foremost based off of, like, again, the money is cool, but the memories can last forever. You can talk about it.
Is that contrary to what you just said as far as you gotta get to work on Monday?
No.
As far as you know what I'm saying, like,
I want you to understand that
he definitely contradicted himself.
it's not actual physical me at my desk. Like, it means literally me at the end of the situation. I'm going to be good. I need you to understand that.
Okay.
So when I look into a situation, I'm processing it like, yo,
that's the best outcome for me.
For me. Right. Now again, like I tell people, whatever works for me and my loved ones.
But are you gonna pick memories over money?
Always.
Okay. So
what's the next philosophy?
Next time we on a trip or something, man,
Just
Katie, call out of work, man.
Bruh. How many times?
I ain't see you in 3 months.
How many times?
The boys together.
How many times we done been out? I'm like, yo, drinks with me. Like, yo, it's not about what we're doing. It's about the moments we're talking. Like, you was there from Mocha Homecoming, right?
Yeah.
I told him we went out to the clubs and all that. My highlight to me was actually us sitting there talking. So that's
about that before.
Exactly. So whatever happens, whatever's spinning, yo, I'm cool with it, bro. Like, yo, here you go, some drinks. Like, that's my actual situation. That's what works for me. But again, I understand everyone may not want to go with that.
This is true.
Simple.
What's the next question, my man? Who got the
Next question.
All right, my man Connor Moses.
Today's politics and all that, what's going on? How y'all feel about this Trump guy? You know, he had a general that just quit on him.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? I forgot the guy's name.
What, the one that got sentenced 3 years?
No,
that was his lawyer. His former lawyer.
That was Cohen.
Yeah.
I forgot this guy, this general. What y'all think? Y'all think he gonna make it to the full term?
I'll be honest with you, I don't follow politics. I mean, I know about his BSery, of course, because it's all over the place. My personal take, and it may not be answering your question, I feel we have a lot more to do ourselves than we can do anything as far as point the finger at him.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I feel that there's so much more we can do within our community. I think we're pointing the blame when things don't go real right with us. We're pointing at him. Right now, he's the scapegoat. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel, me personally, we do more harm to ourselves than 45 can do at all. Like how we were just sitting there screaming about the Yellow Beezy joint with the comedian and all that right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's black on black crime right there. You know what I'm saying? To the point where, all right, it's okay for us to have a disagreement with men. We ain't supposed to sit there and rally every day, hold hands, kumbaya. But it comes to the grounds of we gotta agree to disagree respectfully. Like, you know what? Like me and McFly, we do it all the time. We like, you know what? That's how you stand. That's what you stand on. That's what I stand on. God bless you. I'm still here if you need me. Case closed. So that's my answer to that right there. Because I don't follow politics. Kay, you want to hit it?
I'm not really into politics either. I would have to say that I agree with what he says, you know. And I think a lot of the times.
Before you say he, it sounds like that could be wrong for Trump.
Oh, so what? No, Mo says. And the thing is, too, I think a lot of it is a distraction to us, too. We would never fully understand everything politically that's going on. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of the times they throw different stuff at us just to kind of get us frustrated and to distract us so we don't really pay attention to the big picture. So it's one of those things to where, you know, it depends on the individual of how deep you want to dig into it. You know, because some people could say, okay, even how he got in office was crazy. So it's so many different ways you can look at it. It's so deep. So I kind of try to not kind of consume myself with it. So that's just,
I even think about calling him 45, you're empowering him. Like, you gotta come up with a whole nother moniker for him? Like, yo, just call my man by his name.
Monikers?
No, it's okay. We ain't say 4-4 for you know what I'm saying, Obama. Call him. I made a joke the other day. I said, yo, y'all see these Jordans that came out? It's a Jordan Trump collab. The 45s on the back of the Jordans. My son was like, Dad, really? Donald Trump and Michael Jordan got a collab on these 11s? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They laugh. But nonetheless, you take the power away from my man by actually looking him in his face and be like, yo, what's your name? Donald Trump. How you doing? My name's Marion. I ain't calling you 4 or 5. I need an alias for you. Nah. Give him his name. Tell him what he calling.
Maybe his side people.
Go ahead.
I think politics is money. Politics is money. You got to focus on both. Now, if you're focusing on money in the big scheme of things, there's no way you cannot focus on politics. Before, politics was set up as in not to be spoken about, more of a private thing to be spoken about. I think now, due to Mr. 45, the fact that now it's being spoken about, now people want to be educated on it. So based off of that, there's going to be a lot of the actual teenagers, a lot of like that always want to cause, a lot of them, which is good. So now that they're actually involved in it, and I think it's going to further educate. And I don't think we'll really get the good effects of it right now. But I think long term we'll get the effects of it that actually benefit, because we'll have a lot of our people, black and brown people, that are actually into politics.
Thank you.
So I think that's a good thing. But again, politics and money is hand to hand. So if you're paying attention to the big money, you gotta pay attention to the politics. Win or lose. And Tim being the president,
hey yo,
you gotta
I don't think I
watch
did
what
what
he
you
does.
asked, but it's on me. It's freezing. So.
Hey. No problem. Go ahead, KG.
Hey, you sharper than what you was though. Worry about it. You feel me? Hey, who about to shape him up?
All right, y'all. Let's go with one more question all the way around. We're gonna wrap this up. What we got?
McFly. What up? Air Max 97s or Huaraches?
97s too?
Well, you thinking over there.
Hey, because there's two pairs. There's a pair of them in here. Shannon got on the classic neon joint. And I got on the Huarache.
Okay.
Hey,
If we're going,
Oh, these 9.5s. These are 9.7s.
I said 97.
I'm going 9.7s. I'm going 9.7s. It's crazy. Me and sister was in the mall. It was a pair of olive 9.7s. I was like, I'm supposed to be shopping for my spot or whatever. I'm like, yo, these are like 200 though. I was like, yo, I might can fit this in the budget. So you got anything to go with it? No, I can buy something though. Like, so I'm definitely have to go Air Max 97s. The Huaraches, I guess they're classic, based off pretty much the Fab 5 and Kobe that has that there. But now the Air Max wave is crazy. Air Max 97s all the time.
I'm 9.7s.
I'm not. And honestly, I don't even have a pair. They cost $200. But I want a pair though, and it is Christmas time. I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna send it to her, so if she gets it.
Hey man, too close to Christmas for all that.
Dan, one last question. What you got?
Should have threw that out there last time.
All right, Dan, one last question. What you got?
All right, I'm gonna ask you a relationship question.
All right, you asking Lady Simone or everyone?
Everybody.
All right, go for it.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Everybody who married. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
So, listen. So, you know.
Yo, y'all gotta see
What
Dan
is
right
it?
here, like, what's
It's posture.
going on?
It's
What's right here,
What
yo?
is it? What is it that keeps the relationship going?
Man, I was going to
And-
ask that same
and,
question,
you know what I'm saying?
man.
Like I just need a few points.
From a sexual standpoint, or just in
No,
general?
from we got a two-part question with it. I was going to ask the same
Exactly what
thing.
he said.
Because you know sometimes when you're married,
right?
Make an understanding understood. That's
Oh,
what it is.
wow, that's a T-shirt right there. Hey, write that down, somebody. But
Make an understanding understood. Communicating, man.
But I'm gonna
That's
tell you,
right.
but it also goes to what she just said earlier as well. Look at But it also goes to what she said earlier. You are always evolving. You are always growing. So at one point in time, I was heavy into sneakers. I'm not so heavy into that now.
Right.
I have my LLC, so now this is on my mind.
Yeah.
Once that get conquered, guess what? This is on my mind.
Yeah.
So you gotta, in a sense, you got a different person in front of you every season. I guess you would say.
Every about 5 to 6 years.
Right, right. You got a different
Maturity
person.
comes
You
faith.
know what I'm saying? Absolutely. And then I guess to go to the. I'm sorry.
You gotta be willing to grow with that individual. You gotta pay attention to in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna see different clicks and different things, and when you see that, you notice that, you highlight that, you talk about that, you say, "Look, I see you moving this way, and I see this right here happening." So then, when you sitting there and you approaching that and you getting that, that's digging deeper. Because a lot of the times, and I'm gonna throw it out there, a lot of times. People think it's just sex. You can go out there and have sex with anybody.
Right.
You could go out there, and it's one thing when you're in a relationship, and I even think with a marriage is more than sex. Then you begin to make love, because you can have sex with your significant other for 6 years strong. You still don't understand what makes her click, the different things that make her body respond. All of this right here, you have to understand and realize that. And I think that right there plays a big part. Because
I love you sex is completely different than regular sex. I love you sex, completely different.
I've had conversations with these cats right here before. I'm like, I don't see how y'all can get with a chick and don't kiss her. I don't see how you can do that. Like, don't touch me, don't just. I'm out. I don't see how that works.
I don't see either, but I don't see
I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't know what he's talking about either.
What he talking about? He
You
wild.
know what I'm saying? What's your question?
I like to do all that.
I had a two-part question with them. Y'all kind of answered it. Y'all kind of answered it all.
I ain't want to kiss you if I can't kiss you now. Come on now.
But I can say with him, I'm willing to compromise, but I ain't getting rid of my sneakers.
Hey, the man got morals. Man got morals.
Hey, you guys.
But look though, there's different ways around. There's a guy that I follow on Instagram, real heavy into that, and he had in his basement, he had all his sneakers just and thing, and now he opened up a store. So it's like different ways you can like the things that you love. Different ways.
I mean, that's my ultimate goal.
It's like you said, there was a girl that's in the video games and all that, and you said she met her husband
What you call that thing when you playing video games across from each other? Like online video game, and they met like that. So you figure that right there takes the whole thing to a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? It's something that you tap into. I'll speak indirectly on it. It was a situation that we actually had, and it was an event that we did, and I was so high on the event that really did something for me. You know what I'm saying? Like conversation, it does something for me. So the conversation, if it like, you know what I'm saying, tickle me, you know what I mean, we good to go. So again, last year or two it may not have been that. So you always growing. As long as you gotta grow. You got to grow. In order to grow, but this is the key point. In order to grow, you need sun and you need rain. People run from that bad shit. You need sun and you need rain to grow. You understand what I'm saying? So,
and you're gonna have all that in your marriage.
I promise you're gonna have a lot more rain, but it's about, again, anytime you have a conversation, damn it, it's about pursuit. That's what it all boils down to. But broke my damn couch. Yeah, I was saying I went actually in trouble. You got another question, Connell? Last question for Connell?
Last question. I'm gonna go back to the music thing.
All right, talk.
Meek Mill, that's my man right now.
I heard you pulled up.
I'm rocking with Meek right now. He's saying a lot of positive stuff, man. You know
saying a lot of stuff we need to hear.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Okay.
My question is,
what I think.
How y'all feel about it?
About me?
Yeah. I think he the new little Pop right now, man. Not too.
That's too high.
Listen,
not
in the sense that
I feel where you're going with
he ain't never be no Pop.
Yeah,
He get that understood.
He just did an interview.
I'm just talking about what he went through.
Right. He just did an interview, right?
Boom, boom, and he's saying, you know what I'm saying?
He got Jay in his ear, definitely.
I think
he's speaking on prison reform. That's amazing.
I don't think he's woke right now. I think what it is, I think
he did it.
I think he's taking full responsibility. I think he's taking full advantage of what's going on right now. He even did an interview the other day. Said, you know what? No, don't look at me like I'm that guy. I'm not that guy. No, there's people that know way more than I know. I'm just telling you because I just recently.
I think he's using his platform.
He's not abusing it. It's a difference between using and utilizing. He's utilizing his platform, and now he's doing the right thing. I
think he got a real good reality check.
Absolutely.
That's what I said. If he didn't think they was gonna lock him up for, you know what I'm saying? Probation violation, and he got bread. You think what I'm saying?
But Meek been doing the same thing he always been doing though. Meek always speaks about his life experiences. So again, he wasn't talking prison reform necessarily so much until he went to prison. Like he always speaks his life. And he tells you, I'm not an activist. I'm not sitting there talking. Yo, I'm just telling you my life, and now I have the billionaires around me. I can actually affect some change. I'm going to do that. But I'm still going to talk about these hoes, drinking this leg, chains, roads. I'm still talking that. So again, he's only talking about his life, and again, his life throwing some curveballs, a lot of rain. Now he got the shine for which he deserves. Again, he's educating a lot of the youth on situations like this. That's real. Again, I always use the same example, putting the medicine in the candy. The album, Champions, it's a fire album, trash album cover art, though, I will say that.
Terrible.
I'm totally listening to that.
The cover art.
I don't know what that is.
I'm glad we can agree on that. But again, the album is...
I don't know what that is.
Exactly. The album is fire, though. The album is fire.
I thought the album was cool. I was like, it's cool.
I like it.
It's only one song I like.
For me, with the younger guys rhyming now, rapping now,
Future, right?
I like what he's saying in the times of now.
I agree with you.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so since you brought up hip hop, we'll say we're at the end of the year. Who has the best hip hop album of the year? I'm going right now saying Nip. Right now, Nip, hands down. Nip, hands down.
You know, I haven't been up on.
I say me.
I say me.
I
say me.
Meek just came out 2 weeks ago.
That victory lap was the best album.
2 weeks ago.
But I'm just saying on the content of his music.
Hey,
did you actually listen?
It taking
Have
long
you actually
as it take you to
sat and listen to
do
Blue
the whole
Laces?
album. Listen to the whole album. That's how long it takes.
Have you actually sit and listen to Blue Laces?
Dude, listen,
you gotta listen to what Nips really be saying.
I promise you, man.
I haven't listened.
Listen, get in your car and listen to Blue Laces and listen to the words that he's saying.
I will say this.
I've heard that though.
Everybody goes hard with Nips.
I've heard somebody say Nipsey.
I heard it one time. Heard it one time.
Listen to the first song.
I'm gonna tell you how crazy it is or whatever. I didn't listen.
They dropped 2 of them though.
I'm gonna tell you how crazy it is about Nip's album. I didn't even listen to the album. I was out in LA in August or whatever. I said, well, you know what? Since I'm out in LA, I was riding through Crenshaw. I said, man, I'm gonna play some Nips or whatever.
Right.
I was riding the rental. I played it. I said, damn, bro.
You started feeling it.
I said, well, Nips got something going on here,
The
boy.
environment made you feel better about it.
Yeah, but then I started, after I reanalyzed it, and I started listening to the lyrics.
All right.
When I listened to Blue Laces, I was like,
okay.
I'm gonna say album that's being slept on. J-Rock's album. That
was a fire album.
Fire.
That was a fire
Top
album.
to bottom.
That was a fire
album right there.
And I'm gonna say
J-Rock,
from
TD.
West Coast. Second album, I'm gonna go with second album. I might mess up by saying this. Gotta go with T.I. Don Trap. Gotta go T.I. Don Trap.
I ain't heard it yet, but
that was a good album.
It was decent.
I heard it was
decent.
It was decent.
see, y'all kind of old school, so y'all don't like the new guys or whatever. But I go, man, Travis Scott? Travis Scott had it.
No, I can't do it.
Honestly, I couldn't get into it.
I mean, you got beats, tracks, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's lit.
Yo, isn't he performing at the Super Bowl? Him and Jay supposed to.
Shout out to Travis Scott though, because that nigga he's performing
getting that
for whites,
money,
blacks.
Yo, Jay's trying to get
Getting
him
that
back out of that.
Right.
Yo, did y'all even see his girl is worth $900 million?
Yeah.
Like she just came out of nowhere. Like
That makeup joint.
Yeah,
Makeup.
$900 million.
Yeah.
Her and Jay-Z
21
back in
years
that.
old, B.
$900 million. She's worth more than her whole family right now.
Dang.
Together. $900 million. I wouldn't leave her at all.
Yeah, she got me.
He can get out on
it, yeah.
If he don't, you better make one.
Yeah, she got me wanting to go and mix up some dirt and some water and shit.
Yes.
So I want you to answer this question last. So all three.
But you want me to answer it last?
I want you to answer last. 'Cause I know your journey. So
I like that. That's funny you said that. I like how you
This
said
nigga's
that.
been thinking. He been over here since.
prioritize these three: spiritual, physical, mental health.
Say that again, man. Say it again.
Prioritize these three: spiritual health, physical health, mental health. Prioritize.
I like you, man. You be thinking.
You got glasses.
Thinking.
on,
You got glasses on, yo. You be thinking.
That's deep right there.
Spiritual, mental, and
I gotta
physical.
write that down. I
You
gotta look at
first. You gotta get that mental right to get.
That's
to
what
understand.
I was
that's
gonna
what
go.
I'm gonna go with.
I would go with that too. I would have to say your mental and
To understand spiritual.
yes,
To appreciate that.
The
the physical health. I mean, he that's it. But
mental, but can you get your mental right?
Answer.
I'm saying spiritual.
Lay Simone first. Go ahead.
I would say for me it's mental health. It's mental first because mentally I have to understand myself. I have to know, my limitations and the things that, I can do. And then once I get that mentally, then spiritually, I believe that a lot of the things that that happens, it's a lot of spiritual. Like I depend on that spiritual a lot. So for me, that's why that comes second. Physical, I battle with physical, so I cannot put physical first. I battle with my physical health, but the thing is, I have to mentally get myself right so that I can mentally and spiritually be, strong enough to tap into that physical. So that's just how,
With my three, I'm gonna go mental, based off the same thing she said. Mental, literally, that's a fight 24/7 in your mind all the time, like 100%. You have to be able to completely understand your past, your present, and your future mentally. You get your mind is stronger than the body, so that's why mental to me has to be before physical. So you understand the mental of it, the why things are going on. Then you probably can get to the spiritual and understand the others of it as well. So I will go with mental being first, and then once you can conquer that physically, physical will be next. Then you can see what your body can endure and how can you withstand. You can based off of this what you can do. Then after that, I think spiritually right there, the spiritual will be a lot easier for you once you tackle the mental, then the physical. And after that right there, perfect trio.
For me, I'm gonna go ahead and say honestly, it depends on the individual. Because you got people that use different platforms to actually tap into.
You personally. Mo.
You said me personally?
Yes, Mo.
Oh, me personally? I'm gonna go with mental and spiritual are hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? Those
Because I feel like whatever.
Some people might not prioritize spiritual because they feel like once you die, that's it.
But then he asked me, so we can go back to generally. I can go back to generally.
You speaking to you? That's why I hate you last.
Okay, so.
But I feel like if you focus on the spiritual first, everything else, if you put God first, everything else is going to align itself together.
So it's really mental and spiritual hand in hand. And then
because everybody in this room can agree, you put God first.
I would lastly say physical is last. Okay. Physical health is definitely last. Okay. But in order to get to that physical, like you said, you gotta have that mental. Then you
gotta understand what
you gotta what you believe in. You gotta know. So your mental gotta be right to align yourself with God.
It depends on what day it is.
It
really depends on what day it is too. Yeah. I mean, I might be feeling like I need to go run to get my mind right, and then at that point, me and God can have a conversation while I'm running. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just
that day you put the physical first.
Yeah. Right. So it depends on the day. Every day ain't the same. You dig what I'm saying? I might put my left shoe on before I put my right.
But at the same time, it started with your mental.
Yep.
Well, no,
because that thought, it's the thought that comes. That thought, it's the that mental takes up a lot.
That mental always comes.
That mental takes up a lot.
You're not gonna be able to understand anything if you're not all the way right mentally, physically, spiritually.
That's really not true. Because you got some people that actually. You ever see these guys that they go work out or they go run or something? That's when they find the stuff. Even Kobe said, you know what? I found a relationship with nature while I was running, and at that point I tapped in. Like he said he learned that he had to get up off his teammates because he was heavy on them. He said he learned that from like, damn, if the sun stays out all day long, there would be nothing but death.
But mentally, there was something that got him there first.
Right, but it took him to go running to peak. People can do things up like night. How many times have we done things without thinking? Like you just said, you didn't even think when you jumped in front of homie at Chuck E. Cheese. Right? So that's no mental. That's no mental at that point right there, right? Because you said you think things all the way through, right?
Very much so.
So with that, I mean, sometimes it depends on the day. I gotta go with depends on the day.
So you're trying to say that there's nuance and there's a gray area with that?
Given what you've been through in life.
Okay.
That's what I said.
Given what you've been through in life.
Nice paraphrase there. Nice paraphrase there.
Given what you've been through in life.
Me?
Yes.
Depends on the day.
Today, right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Today?
I'll say spiritual.
I don't know.
It changes. How you feeling right now?
I'm right now.
I'm hungry. So physically, yo. So I haven't eaten all day. Yeah. It really depends on. You can't sit there and tell me every day you wake up mentally strong. Let's go.
I'll give you an example.
Work like
today. I had to go work out. I needed that to mentally get a cleanse.
But you know
so you went up physically.
I had to go
but you
3 miles
woke
in to
up
get
with
my
that
mind
understanding that you're not strong.
No, I woke up in it like one of those moments, just like.
So you were mentally scattered. So mental still plays
so
a part.
Mentally everywhere.
So because you have to, your mind is so strong. We say that all the time. Your mind is so strong.
Once you got the mental,
regardless.
Any decision choice you make is
mental.
Yeah.
Once you got the
mental,
mental,
so when it goes back to that point I just made, sometimes we do things we're not thinking. So what's
but no, even though you can think you're not thinking, but mentally something got you there. Yeah, you can't.
So it's self-process. Like like if you know what I'm saying, hypothetically speaking, you know what I'm saying, if your mind wasn't right when it's time to eat, you might eat shit. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. If you in your right state of mind, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a whole nother episode on the podcast.
You might not know what you're eating, but you gonna eat.
That's right.
Psychologist friends.
I ain't gonna lie, man. You came with a question.
You know, that's a good question right there. Good point as well. You definitely a deep thinker. You know what I'm saying?
You got me. I'm ready to take you to the notepad, man.
Sam, you got another question?
I don't got one, man.
You good? Everybody good on that question? You good?
Yeah. Man, I'm sure I got another question, man. But I can't think right now.
No, what man help me?
His mental done messed up.
Mental scanner right now.
So you're relying on the physical right now.
Yeah, I'm relying on the physical right now.
All right, right now, but before we
I do got one.
All right, what up?
Okay, it goes to
Did you just text somebody for a question?
Nah, man.
Oh, okay. I thought you just text somebody for a question,
man.
yo.
It goes to like, how do y'all keep y'all, I'll say, marriage spicy?
Change.
Cause I mean, you know, sometimes whatever with a woman, whatever, you having kids, 3 kids or whatever. I mean, you'll be so
caught. Kids now. Okay.
Yeah, you'll be so caught into being a mom or whatever, you don't know how to.
Wow.
That's how I call my friends. I'm like, how you doing?
How do you balance that? Because you know, you got sometimes whatever. I'm like, they're so focused.
My man reaction was
taking care of their kids.
Something else.
It's like you're still a wife too.
Nigga said, "Whoa."
I said, the husband still has their needs or whatever. Also,
I have no problem with being transparent. I am the number one getting caught up in the kids that I forget about my husband.
But
I am number one.
And
all I'm saying is like, how do you? I'm just like, because a lot of women they don't know how to balance that.
As a husband, you got to fall back and understand what's at the greater good. It's the kids.
But
you still have that conversation. You don't just come up to her and be like, look at my
24/7, man.
You don't just come
there like, babe,
you don't come up and be like, look at this.
come on now.
I'm talking about when the kids. I'm talking about when the kids sleeping all or whatever.
Oh no,
like, I'm putting to sleep. I'm tired.
Well, you know what? I was about to say something that could definitely get me in trouble. I'm not gonna say it on record. I was gonna say, yo, just take it. But you know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, yo, that don't take that into context like that. But nonetheless, it's,
I want to hear it.
This,
I think
I want to hear it all.
Because
I want to hear it all. I want to hear it all.
Because again, like I've called friends. I'm like, yo, how you doing? Oh, well, the kids are good. It's like, yeah, that's cool and everything. Ask how you doing.
Right.
They're trained to. You gotta understand. If I'm in a relationship, it's me and you. So right now, your girlfriend, or let's say you're Jane. You're Jane, right? Boom. At that point now, Jane is a wife. That's another hat, right? Now Jane's a mom. That's another hat. We're going with the levels of the hats. Hopefully, you're signing up for these hats. You gotta understand. You have to juggle these hats. One is not more or less important. You have to still meet all these requirements. Now it's up for the guy to be understanding that she has a lot of hats that she has to wear. But she's putting these hats 100% because it's a lot. But with that being said, don't lose the fact that why you became girlfriend because you wife now.
but then also, I think it takes the man to understand that as well. Because honestly, don't get me wrong. You know what? I hate when people say the mom's role is more important than the dude's role. That is such BS. Because quite frankly, I'm the reason why you are a mom. We can't get past that. I'm the one that shot out the club for you to have on these hats.
That goes back to saying about the food on the plate for the kids. Men make a lot of sacrifices.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Like me, I do a lot of traveling with my job. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot I miss. But you know what I'm saying? If I don't miss it,
and I'm sure it hurts you to miss it.
If you don't miss it, then they miss something that you provide.
I'm gonna tell you what my son told me one time. This is around the time Dame Dash did that interview with the Breakfast Club. My son said, "Yo, Dad," I said, "What's up?" He said, "Can you come to my basketball game?" I said, "Well, son, I gotta work." He was like, "Yo, Dad, can you ask your supervisor? Can you have the day off?" First of all, me, I'm like, "Oh, man." Then he was like, "But Dad, I'm pretty sure if his son had to work, if his son had a basketball game, he'll go to his game." And I was like,
"Yeah, you're right."
God dang, son, you about to make me knock my supervisor out. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause now I'm like a sucker, kind of, sort of, in my mind.
And you positioned it in.
No, he did it really well. It was like that scene in, what's the name of that movie? 12 Years a Slave, was it? When David Banner, what was it? Nonetheless, it was a scene in one of those movies, 12 Years of Slavery or whatever. I couldn't watch the film. It was right when the slave master just got finished raping the wife, right? He's coming through, pulling up his pants and all that. Yeah. All the slaves are in the field, right? You got David Banner was the pops, and you got the little boy, right? Mom's come out, shirt torn and everything. She crying, the son run up to the moms, right? The mom, as the guy's walking off now, the boy asks the dad, who was David Banner, "Dad, you just gonna let him do that to mom?" Him not understanding the consequences, right? He put Dave in a position that he had to die. And that's the part when you become a father, a lot of people don't take that into consideration. You're signing up to say that I will die for what it is mine at this point, right? So Dave had to come out, he was like, he said, "Hey, master, whatever." The guy said, "You need to go sit down." He looked at his son, he looked at his mom, he already made that decision in his mind, I'm about to die. But again, it goes back to what I said, it's an honorable death.
So what did he do to the slave master?
He went to go run down on him, but then they shot him. He didn't get a chance to touch him.
And he knew that was going to happen, but he had to be a martyr to the situation.
Right. He was a slave.
Ain't no way in hell I'm going to die without getting this.
He didn't think it through.
You got to think it through.
I'm going to get mine.
Let's think about this, right? Let's think about this.
I'm still trying to be around for you, so I'm going to get him later.
You got to get this point, bro. You got to teach your son
that's our situation. They need to be more like you.
Strategic moving too.
So no, we have a lot of conversations about that.
Hey, I'm going to catch him when he have a lot of
I told you, I feel you now.
My God.
I'm going to catch him when he sleep.
Just watch this, son. Chill out.
Chill out.
Let me show you how to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Nonetheless,
I'm going to get him. Don't worry about it.
Hold up, man.
matter of fact, what's the score of the game right now?
Cowboys, let's check on that. Cowboys. How you know that?
You got to see his attitude,
Wow. How you know that?
I think we should just wrap it up.
All right, yo, check us out.
Ain't looking good over there.
Wow, yo, you bucking up on big fella right now.
Y'all boys up 17-13, man.
Huh?
Yeah, they up.
Y'all was up 17-13.
All right, y'all. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up.
I was playing, see what you said. Man, don't be playing with me like that, man.
Hey, y'all, again, I appreciate everyone for coming through. We got Shannon Gamble.
Hey, yo.
We got my man Damien Armstrong. We got Gerari Gowdy. We got Cornell Moses. And you got the With All Due Respect podcast as well as Big Fella. I appreciate y'all for coming through. And as usual, this is the With All Due Respect podcast presented by Mo Knows. It's your girl, Lady Simone, Mr. McFly, and me, your main man Mo. Until next time,
I appreciate y'all, man.